Most people believe success begins with big opportunities, lucky breaks, or perfect timing. But if you study the lives of the world's highest performers, the entrepreneurs, the athletes, the innovators, the leaders who consistently operate at the top of their field, you'll notice something fascinating. Their success doesn't start when the world wakes up. It begins long before that moment, in the quiet hours when the rest of the world is still asleep. Think about that for a moment. While most people are hitting the snooze button for the third time, someone else is already moving. Someone else is already thinking, planning, building, preparing. And that difference, that small shift in time, creates a massive shift in life. Because waking up at 5 a.m. is not really about the clock. It's about control. When you wake up before the noise of the world begins, you step into a rare space where your mind is clear, your focus is sharp, and your energy belongs entirely to you. Neuroscience tells us that in the early morning hours, the brain is in one of its most powerful states for clarity, creativity, and decision-making. Stress hormones are low, distractions are minimal, and the mind becomes incredibly receptive to learning, planning, and intentional action. That means the first hour of your day can literally shape the next 16. Now imagine starting every single day with that advantage. Instead of waking up late and reacting to messages, problems, deadlines, and pressures, you become the architect of your day. You design your priorities. You strengthen your body. You sharpen your mind. You prepare your strategy before the world even asks anything from you. And here is the real secret most people miss. Successful people don't wake up early because they have to. They wake up early because they understand something powerful. Discipline in the small moments creates freedom in the big moments. Every morning you wake up at 5 a.m., you are sending a message to your brain. You are telling yourself that you are in control, that your goals matter more than temporary comfort, and that your future is worth the extra effort today. And when you repeat that decision day after day, week after week, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your mindset changes, your energy changes, your identity begins to transform, because success is rarely created in dramatic, life-changing moments. It is built quietly, consistently, in the small decisions that most people never see. And for many of the world's highest achievers, that decision begins at 5 a.m. Most people think success is determined by talent, intelligence, or opportunities. But one of the most powerful advantages successful individuals create for themselves is psychological, and it begins in the early hours of the morning. When someone wakes up at 5 a.m., they step into a mental environment that very few people experience. It is quiet, distraction-free, and mentally powerful. The world has not yet started demanding attention. Notifications are silent, and the mind is not overloaded with external pressures. In this space, a person gains something extremely valuable: psychological control. When the majority of people are still asleep, the brain is operating in a calm and focused state. neuroscience shows that early morning hours often come with lower levels of mental noise and higher clarity of thought. This means the brain can process ideas, plan goals, and focus deeply without interruption. Instead of reacting to problems and stress, a person begins the day proactively. This small shift from reaction to intention creates a huge psychological advantage. The early morning also strengthens the brain's decision-making system. When someone consistently wakes up early, they are practicing discipline before the day even begins. Every time the alarm rings and a person chooses to get up rather than return to comfort, the brain reinforces a powerful message. Long-term goals are more important than short-term pleasure. Over time, this strengthens self-control and mental resilience. Discipline becomes easier because it is practiced daily in the very first decision of the day. Another psychological benefit comes from the sense of personal ownership over time. Most people start their day already feeling behind. They wake up late, rush through their routine, and immediately start reacting to emails, messages, responsibilities, and problems. This creates stress and a feeling of being controlled by circumstances. But waking up early flips this entire experience. Instead of feeling rushed, the individual feels prepared. Instead of reacting, they are planning. This creates confidence and a sense of leadership over one's own life. Early mornings also provide a rare opportunity for uninterrupted thinking. Many of the world's most successful individuals use this time for reflection, goal visualization, reading, exercise, or strategic planning. These activities strengthen clarity and direction. When the brain starts the day with intentional thought instead of random distractions, it programs the mind to focus on what truly matters. The psychological edge becomes even stronger because very few people choose this habit. When someone consistently wakes up at 5 a.m., they are operating in a time zone of productivity that most people never enter. Over months and years, this creates a massive difference in focus, preparation, and personal growth. What seems like a small daily choice quietly transforms into a powerful mental advantage that shapes performance, confidence, and long-term achievement. When a person consistently wakes up at 5 a.m., they are not just changing their schedule, they are training their brain. The human brain is highly adaptable and constantly reshapes itself based on repeated behaviors. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to build stronger neural pathways through repetition. When someone chooses to wake up early every day, especially when it requires effort and discipline, the brain begins strengthening the circuits responsible for self-control, focus, and long-term thinking. The first battle of the day is not against the world. It is against comfort. When the alarm rings in the early morning, the mind immediately faces two options: remain in comfort or take action. Each time a person chooses action, the brain records that decision as a victory of discipline over impulse. Over time, these repeated choices strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, planning, and goal-directed behavior. This means that early risers gradually develop stronger mental control over distractions, temptations, and procrastination. Early mornings also improve the brain's ability to focus deeply. In the early hours, external distractions are minimal. Social media activity is low, messages are quiet, and the environment is calm. This allows the brain to enter a state of deep concentration much more easily. When a person regularly uses this time for reading, learning, planning, or creative thinking, the brain becomes trained to enter focused states faster and more efficiently. Over time, concentration becomes a natural habit rather than something that requires constant effort. Another powerful effect involves dopamine, the brain chemical associated with motivation and reward. When a person accomplishes something early in the morning, whether it is exercise, planning the day, or completing meaningful work, the brain releases dopamine as a reward signal. This creates a positive association between effort and satisfaction. The brain begins to expect productivity in the morning and naturally feels motivated to repeat the behavior. Instead of feeling lazy or sluggish at the start of the day, the brain becomes wired to seek progress and achievement. Waking up early also strengthens mental clarity and emotional stability. Cortisol, the hormone that helps regulate alertness and energy, naturally rises in the morning. When someone wakes up early and uses this time intentionally, they align their actions with the body's natural biological rhythm. This improves alertness, reaction time, and cognitive performance throughout the day. Rather than feeling mentally scattered or overwhelmed, the mind feels organized and prepared. Over weeks and months, these small neurological changes compound into powerful mental advantages. The brain becomes more disciplined, more focused, and more resilient to distraction. What initially felt difficult gradually becomes automatic behavior. The individual no longer struggles to wake up early or concentrate on meaningful tasks. The brain itself has been trained to operate with greater clarity, stronger willpower, and higher productivity. Every human brain operates on biological rhythms that influence energy, attention, and productivity throughout the day. Science shows that our cognitive performance is not constant from morning to night. Instead, there are specific windows when the brain is naturally more alert, focused, and capable of high-level thinking. Early morning is one of the most powerful of these windows. When people wake up around 5 a.m., they often enter a period where the brain is fresh, rested, and highly capable of deep work. During sleep, the brain goes through several restoration processes. Memory is consolidated, toxins are cleared, and neural connections are reorganized. When a person wakes up after sufficient rest, the mind is essentially reset. Mental fatigue from the previous day is gone, which allows clearer thinking and stronger attention. This is why many scientists and productivity researchers describe the first few hours after waking as a cognitive prime time. The brain has its highest capacity for concentration and problem solving. Before it becomes overloaded decisions, and distractions. Another factor that strengthens early morning productivity is decision energy. Throughout the day, the brain makes thousands of decisions, both small and large. Every decision consumes mental resources. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. As the day progresses, the brain becomes less efficient at focusing, planning, and controlling impulses. By evening, many people find it harder to concentrate or think creatively. But at 5 a.m., the brain has not yet experienced this fatigue. The mental energy required for planning, learning, and creative work is at its peak. Hormones also play an important role in early productivity. Shortly after waking, the body experiences what scientists call the cortisol awakening response. Although cortisol is often associated with stress, in healthy amounts, it actually increases alertness and readiness to act. This natural surge helps the brain wake up quickly and prepares the body for action. When this energy is used intentionally through exercise, planning, studying, or focused work, the brain enters a powerful state of productivity. Silence and lack of distraction also amplify this advantage. During early morning hours, the environment is usually calm. There are fewer phone notifications, fewer emails, fewer interruptions from other people. This quiet environment allows the brain to sustain attention on one task for longer periods. Deep work becomes possible, where complex thinking and creativity can occur without constant interruption. Many high performers structure their most important tasks during this time because they understand the biological advantage. Writing, strategic planning, learning new skills, or designing long-term goals becomes easier when the brain is operating at its highest cognitive capacity. Instead of wasting these prime hours on reactive activities, they use them to create progress before the world begins competing for their attention. Over time, consistently using these peak mental hours creates a massive difference in productivity. Tasks that might take hours in the afternoon can often be completed faster and with greater clarity in the morning. The brain becomes trained to associate early hours with meaningful output and progress, strengthening both efficiency and mental performance. Most people begin their day in reaction mode. The alarm rings, they wake up late, immediately check their phone, read messages, scroll through social media, respond to emails, and rush into responsibilities. Before they even realize it, the day has already started controlling them. Their attention is pulled in multiple directions. Their priorities are shaped by other people's demands, and their energy is spent solving problems that suddenly appear in front of them. This pattern creates a reactive lifestyle, where a person is constantly responding to life instead of directing it. Waking up at 5 a.m. changes this dynamic completely. Instead of starting the day in a state of urgency and distraction, a person begins with intention and clarity. Early mornings create a space where there is no immediate pressure from the outside world. The phone is quiet, the inbox is empty of urgency, and the mind is not yet overwhelmed by responsibilities. This quiet window gives individuals the opportunity to design their day before the world begins asking for their time and attention. Designing the day means deciding what truly matters before distractions arrive. When someone wakes up early, they can think about their priorities with a clear mind. They can identify the most important tasks, set goals for the day, and determine how their time will be spent. Instead of reacting to random events, they are guiding their actions according to a clear plan. This small shift from reaction to strategy creates a powerful psychological advantage. Early mornings also allow individuals to align their actions with their long-term goals. During busy hours of the day, people often focus only on urgent tasks. These tasks may feel important in the moment, but they do not always contribute to meaningful progress. However, when someone wakes up early and plans their day intentionally, they can focus on activities that truly move their life forward. This may include learning a new skill, exercising, reading, strategic thinking, or working on long-term projects that require uninterrupted focus. Another important factor is emotional control. When a person begins the day calmly and intentionally, they are less likely to feel overwhelmed when challenges appear later. Because they have already taken time to organize their thoughts and priorities, they respond to problems with greater clarity and confidence. The mind becomes proactive rather than defensive. Instead of feeling like the day is attacking them with endless demands, they feel prepared to handle whatever comes. Over time, this habit transforms the way a person experiences life. They no longer wake up feeling rushed, stressed, or controlled by circumstances. Instead, they wake up knowing that the first hours of the day belong entirely to them. In those hours, they create direction, clarity, and momentum. Rather than reacting to whatever the day brings, they shape the day according to their own vision and priorities. High performers understand that success is rarely the result of one dramatic action. Instead, it is built through small, consistent habits repeated every day over long periods of time. These habits shape behavior, influence mindset, and gradually create a powerful foundation for achievement. One of the most common patterns among successful individuals is that their daily routines begin before sunrise. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not simply about having more hours in the day. It is about establishing a structure that supports discipline, clarity, and purposeful action from the very beginning of the day. Morning habits are powerful because they influence everything that follows. When the day starts with intentional actions, such as exercise, reading, planning, or focused work, the brain enters a productive mindset. The individual feels in control, energized, and prepared. This early momentum creates a chain reaction throughout the rest of the day. Productivity increases, decision-making becomes clearer, and distractions become easier to manage. By the time the majority of people are just beginning their morning routines, the early riser has already invested significant effort into personal growth and meaningful progress. Consistency is the key factor that makes this habit so effective. When someone wakes up early every day, the brain and body begin to adapt to this rhythm. The sleep cycle becomes more structured, energy levels stabilize, and mental focus improves. Over time, the early morning becomes a natural and reliable period for high-quality thinking and action. This consistency also strengthens discipline. Each morning reinforces the identity of someone who values growth, preparation, and self-control. Instead of relying on motivation, the person relies on routine. Another important element is the uninterrupted nature of early hours. Most successful people use this time to focus on activities that require deep concentration or personal reflection. Because there are fewer distractions, the mind can work more efficiently. This environment supports activities that are often neglected during busy hours of the day, such as strategic planning, learning new knowledge, creative thinking, or strengthening physical health. These activities may seem small when done once, but when practiced daily, they create powerful, long-term advantages. Early rising also reflects a deeper mindset shared by many high achievers. It represents a willingness to do what is difficult in the short term in order to gain long-term benefits. While others may choose comfort and extra sleep, the early riser chooses preparation and progress. This decision reinforces the belief that personal success is built through deliberate effort rather than convenience. Over months and years, this habit compounds into extraordinary results. The additional hours invested in learning, planning, and self-improvement accumulate into thousands of productive hours. These hours translate into stronger skills, clearer goals, improved health, and greater personal development. What began as a simple decision to wake up at 5 a.m. quietly evolves into a powerful lifestyle pattern that supports continuous growth and high performance.